different places and spaces and schools to talk about voting.
A lot of people think that if I don't vote, it doesn't matter, it doesn't count, but it does count. It does count. So that's why it's important to me. And I think for those of us that are young, we just gotta keep going. We gotta keep fighting the good fight. So
I think that it's important to use the voice that's been fought for. Like we fought for the right to vote. So I feel like it's only right to continue to fight and to continue to exercise that right to use your voice.
Anybody that wants to get involved in anything, first you got to start, your voice matters. So the first thing to do is acceptance. So you got to accept the fact that you want to change and then go make something about it. And then secondly, I would say that really just everybody matters. So you never know what you can do, how big of an impact you can make. So you got to take it and run with it and see how far you can take it.
I'll say don't be silent, use your voice, get out and vote. This election is very important, so we need everybody from 18-year-old to the oldest people to get out and vote and do what you can. This election is important. It has to do with our future, so plan ahead and get out and there vote.
We're going to play a little game called Fact and Fiction. And if you think it's a fact, you're going to raise your hand. If you think it's fiction, keep it down. So, for those of you who are not from Texas, can you still vote in your hometown election? Fact or fiction? I see one. Yes, it's a fact. You can vote in your hometown election. All you need to do is request a mail-in ballot. It's real easy. You can just go to vote411.org, put in your state, and it will tell you how to get your mail-in ballot. Second fact or fiction, you can use your student ID to go vote. Fact or fiction? Raise your hand if it's a fact, down if it's fiction. That's correct, it's a fiction. You have to take in specific IDs, and if you don't have an ID, you can still go vote. You just need to make sure you have they will have a form that you can sign, and you can take something like a birth certificate. But again, vote411.org will let you know. I'm really excited to be here. Vote411.org is where you can go to get all the information you need, even a sample ballot. Like me, I don't want to be in there trying to figure out who I'm voting for, what races. I want to actually know before I go who I'm voting for.
Somebody's asking, why should I vote? I know we have friends who are saying this voting doesn't matter. Doesn't matter who's in office. Why should I vote? I don't care about voting. Anybody heard that? Family, friends saying voting doesn't matter? Well, I'm going to tell you why it matters. Somebody died so that you can vote. Somebody was willing to have their skull fractured so you can vote. Somebody with bruises and bandages got up the next day after they were beaten and kept on marching so that you and I can vote. That's one reason why we got to vote. But guess what? If you don't vote, there's some things already happening that are just going to get a lot worse. We've already lost affirmative action, and that's just going to get worse. I want you to know right now, listen to me, in states all across America, if a young child gets raped and is impregnated by their rapist, it is illegal for them to end the pregnancy. Young children are being forced in our country to bear the children of their rapists. And I don't think that's right. People are talking about taking our neighbors and putting them in camps. People are talking about making police officers immune from any prosecution. Meaning it doesn't matter what they do, how often they do it, and who they do it to. They cannot be prosecuted for their actions. I want to come today to say that you young people, you college students, have the power to save democracy. You are just like the college students that have come before you. Bold, brilliant, beautiful, fearless. And our future is dependent upon you. And so not only am I going to vote with my ancestors in mind, not only am I going to vote for my people, but I'm going to vote for some child that's not yet born so that they can have a better life than the one I have right now. If you're willing to do that, go ahead and put your hands together, not just for the ancestors, not just for family and friends, but even for those who were coming behind me.
We want to thank Reverend Waters and Reverend Robinson and others who made this day possible. I think we all need to know about the importance of the vote, and I think he said that very eloquently. He talked about the history, he talked about the now. But as he ended, he also talked about the future. You need to know you're not just voting for a president or a vice president. You're voting for judges, you're voting for civic officials, you're voting for public officials that will affect your enrollment and what you do during this time while you're in Thailand, and what your parents will be faced with while they're in their homes. So as you think about your vote, think it counts, it does count. I'm not sure about many of you, but when this institution was found, it was found on the shoulder of slaves and former slave owners. That's right. We had no place to get an education other than here. And you need to know your vote will make a determination if they keep a Department of Education and if financial aid funds will continue to be available for you. That's right. Right now, that's very much threatening. Some of you know that right now because your financial aid is yet to be processed. And it's not about the college. It's about what's happening in Washington, D.C. or what's not happening in Washington, D.C. Yeah, and it's good to come out and have fun, and it's good to come out and shake a leg, but it's also good to do the business about the business. Right. So I want to thank you, sir, for making this day possible. As he has said, sign the bus. Let your signature be seen in every city they go into. Sign the bus. But more so, sign within your heart that you're going to be determined to vote. May God bless you. May God bless your parents. God bless.
I think the issues that are important to me, I think when I go to the ballot this election, I think of my siblings. I think of my little sister, you know, because of course it applies to me because, you know, I go to HBCU and they're trying to take away the, you know, the Department of Education, they're trying to take away financial aid, they're trying to take away free lunches, you know, I'm thinking about my siblings, and I have a younger sister, I have a girlfriend, you know, they're trying to take away women's rights, you know, trying to take away the reproduction rights, and so, you know, these issues are important to me, which is why I'm going to the ballot, because I'm not just thinking about myself, I'm thinking about them and every other Black American and American in general, you know, who deserve to have their rights and freedoms that we fought so hard for and that they're trying to take away. So that's what I'm thinking about.
I think the most dangerous threat to our society is Project 2025. And one of the things, the issues that I focus on, what I've studied in that document was the Department of Education, how it impacts students across the country, and how it will impact financial aid, and how it will impact other students who are interested in coming into college who have low income, and things of that nature. And the second thing that I worry about is reproductive health care for women across this country. And sadly, it is banned in this state, and I believe that a woman has a right to choose to protect her own body as well.
We are right off the road from a Deep South tour. We were in Atlanta this weekend, went through Alabama and Mississippi. This morning we were at Texas College, had a wonderful time there, and grateful to be here at Paul Quinn.
Voting is important to me because my grandmother couldn't vote. My grandparents couldn't vote at all. Half of my grandparents, they're immigrants from Jamaica, the other half. My mom came from the murder capital of the world, Detroit, and so she was low income, poverty. Both of my parents are veterans. My entire life I've seen them fight for my rights and others, civil rights, including all immigrants benefit from off of their backs. Both my parents were in war, so I'm a citizen, and I believe that I have the right to fight and vote as much as anybody else. And my ancestors, not even just the Harriet Tubmans, and my grandparents couldn't vote. So it kind of resonates a little deeper for me.
If we don't vote for any other reason than the fact that people died for the right to vote, that's reason enough. But if this is not good enough for you, if even the blood shed by our ancestors is not good enough for you, maybe you ought to consider this. There are persons who want to end the Department of Education. If they end the Department of Education, that's a part of Project 2025. Guess what? You don't receive any more financial aid. And guess what they've already ended? They've already ended affirmative action. Right? Guess what they've already ended? They've banned books in schools. You can't even read a book called To Kill a Mockingbird, which is all about racial equality.
They're really trying to take away our freedoms, you know, things that Martin Luther King fought for, MLK fought for, Rosa Parks fought for, you know, Harriet Tubman fought for, you know, everyone who was enslaved, and everyone who fought for our freedoms, you know, women activists, you know, who have fought for our women's freedoms, you know, they're trying to take it away. So, I mean, my encouragement is to you, to any HBCU out there, is that think about your family, think about your mother, think about your father, think about people that you love, and think about their rights being removed, and think about how you would feel knowing you could have played a part in changing that, you know, narrative, and you know, you're just sitting on the fence saying it doesn't impact me, but what about the other people? What about your mother? You know, so.
If I had something to say to every HBCU student across the country and to all HBCUs around the world, this nation, is that what's important, what you should do if you're on the fence, is read the document as Robert stated. Because this document is not only dangerous, but it takes away the fundamental rights and freedoms of what this country stands for, and our morals and our dignity. And it also takes away decency. And so I encourage everyone, all of you who are students of HBCUs in general, to go out and vote for your rights and your freedoms and to protect the fundamental decency of this country.
There are people that want to suppress you from voting. They're going to tell you and create this false narrative that your vote does not matter. It does. Unfortunately, that's a tactic now. You know, don't vote, or if you guys come at this time, or if you do this or if you do that, and they're trying to suppress our voice. And I feel as though the number one freedom, and the reason that so many people fought against us to be able to vote, is because they know the power of that. And as young people, that's our duty. I mean, again, both my parents were in the military, so they didn't fight and go overseas for me to sit on my behind and let other people choose for me. So that would be my message.
So we really have an option, and I'm gonna land it here. We either vote because we remember the blood, or we don't vote and we harm generations that have yet to be born. I am super proud of you and about the decision that you are making. Come on, listen, come on, give them a great big hand. It's important.
This is Taylor. Y'all know she's your SGA president. She's gonna register our new voters.
Everybody's vote counts, and I feel like the young generation is gonna be those that shift the narrative, and that we're gonna be the ones that impact this election the most.